I've come a long way. I guess I grew up in Catholicism. I had a praying grandmother, which I am grateful for, very grateful for. But I always tried to seek, but I guess I was left to my own devices, and I was lost. And I do believe in 2008, I definitely cried out to the Lord, and I felt the presence in some sort of presence that was beyond me, but I didn't understand and I didn't comprehend, and I didn't have a whole lot of guidance, and fellowship for sure was definitely lacking. I had certain people come out and point me towards the Lord, but I'd say more recently in the last 2-3 years, I work at the same employer as Daniel Barry, and we've engaged in fellowship, and I think that was huge in the sense that he always told me to go to the Word, and so in the last 2 years I've been through the entire Bible, and breakthroughs and deliverance have happened in my life, and as it says in Ezekiel 36:26, the stony heart will be turned to flesh, and it will give you a new spirit within you. And I truly have seen that fruit start to come in my life, and seen addictions and just strongholds being released in my life. And as I continue to try to seek the Lord, I continuously I'm blessed, and I get revelation, and I get purpose, because I've been lost, I've been broken, and I've struggled with similar things that Dan talked about in my walk. But it's been absolutely mind-blowing, phenomenal when you seek Him, and I've had the presence of God before, and it is something that is inexplicable, and I want more, and I just hunger for it. And there are definitely trials, and I think there's different seasons, but this season has been a season of growth, and I'm so grateful for fellowship. I'm so grateful for being here amongst all you people to experience the Lord, and to try to continue to grow. And so I continue. I second what Daniel says. Just seek Him, seek that presence, and see what His calling is for us. I'm trying to discern. I'm trying to be still, and trying to listen. And I struggle, and that's where I'm looking to Him to give me that guidance and that growth, to see what He wants for my life, for my family, for the people that are in my life, and the people that I can reach out to, because I feel a calling that He's given so much for me, and He's transformed so much in my life. Just to be called a servant. I'm not worthy, but Christ has been good. Amen. Amen.
So, in regards to your past life and present life, what is the kind of transition that's happened since you got deeper in the Word and with the Lord, your relationship with the Lord, and your fellowship life?
With my relationship with the Lord, I mean, it went from non-existent, from my own idea of who God the Creator was, what salvation looked like, to knowing the heart of God, to trying and to starting to discern what He wants from us, and how that looks. And through fellowship and through His Word has that been brought, and continues to bring. I still don't know anything, but I've had revelation from Him, and had knowledge that has boosted me up to a point where it's night and day from my walk before, and I understand what it's like to walk in darkness and not have hope, and I don't think I ever came in with the heart of wanting eternity, wanting that kind of Savior. I was just lost in my own devices and trying to figure out what life was about. That stuff still isn't even really dawning on me. What comes next? It's the love and the amount that Christ can just take strongholds and bondages and release that from you. Where a light where you just see darkness, you know darkness, and you don't have that hope where you can see light and see purpose for yourself. And to me, that's been the biggest take back now. So all glory to God.
Glory to God.
All glory to God.
In terms of habits and lifestyle, how much of a change have you seen since you gave your life to the Lord?
It's 180. 180. I was.
What are the things that you used to do that you don't do
Oh, I'm a drinker. I'm a partier. I'd sit out with my neighbors to all hours of the night. You know what I mean? With friends and stuff like that, and just my language, my appetite, my views. He took it all. He replaced it with. You think that you're giving up things that'll hurt or will change or will be painful to give up, and he replaces it with things. You know, that peace, that presence, that purpose. That you wonder why you were caught in that lifestyle of drinking and chasing women, putting tattoos on your body, motorcycles, like those worldly ambitions left me empty, left me only asking for more. But he gives you stuff that I don't know, it's just that, and that's why I long to grow, and it's still I need to surrender myself, and there's still.
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing, but the spirits of the fruit and what he brings and how those are trying to ripe, trying to grow, outweighs anything that I've experienced prior.
How important would you say is spending time in the Word, and what's the kind of impact that it's had on your spiritual life?
We shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of God. And to me, we eat three times a day. I personally find I need the word, and still I continuously need it. And I want to meditate on it. It's not a religious like it's not that I feel tasked to do it. I feel dry or I feel empty when I don't do it. And he gave me that desire, because trust me, I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader. I'm not. And it was a struggle to get through the Bible the first time. It was a struggle to get focused, to read and stuff like this. But now I see the benefits, and I see how important it is. And it's not always easy, because life, throws stuff at you. But I know when I'm away from it, and I know when I'm in it. And I know that, because I feel, the deeper I'm getting, the more I feel attacks from I can start to understand the spiritual realm better than I could before. And you understand that you're dealing with things that you need, like, I need him, and I need his word to give me that. I need to be equipped with the armor.
Do you think you can have a deep relationship with the Lord if you were not spending time in his word every day? And also, do you think you can know God and the spirit realm the way that God wants you to know, if you wouldn't invest the kind of time that you do today in the word?
Absolutely not. I believe it's revelation in his word, and I find I listen to other pastors or other leaders and stuff like that, but my biggest breakthroughs myself have been what he's brought me back to his word, and I've had my own experiences with him, and I pray and I hunger and I thirst for that, and that didn't start coming until I even knew the basis of his words, till I went through the Bible. And now it's like and I still don't know much, but I want to continue to get knowledge, his knowledge and his wisdom.
In your own words, just tell us a few ways in how you seek the Lord in your day-to-day life.
Trying to carve out time, and it doesn't always look the same, but to carve out time that I just give to him, and that's something that I still struggle with, and I want to sharpen, but to actually take time to say, I'm giving it to you, Lord. And I might have to remove myself from my home, might have to remove myself from whatever. Like, it's not always consistent routine, but it's about carving out carving out time for Him, that it doesn't feel like it's routine based, but it feels like, it's actually giving to Him.
So do you make time for God, or you give your spare time for Him? When you say carving out,
I think I make time. I have to consciously make time, sacrifice time,
right.
Sacrifice time.
How has that impacted your marriage life and your family life as well as parenting?
Well, I think you'd have to ask my wife on that, but I've found we've grown, and I think that's the thing. I need my deeds and my actions to show that I'm not the same man I was before, and that only the other people that are in my life can speak to, right?
So you see good changes in your life since you gave your life to the Lord.
I do.
Positive.
And I pray that the others do too, but they have to speak.
But since you began to invest time in God's Word and building your relationship with the Lord, how has that impacted the lives of other people in your life?
Positively, but I think a lot, because like I said, from the darkness I came from, and I brought that to some of my family, it's not without strife and struggle, because people around me and stuff aren't used to the new creation. They're used to the old ways, right? And so it's that's something that I'm giving my faith to God, and I'm trusting in Him that, keep on seeking and following Him, and that fruit it'll come.
Right. So I'm asking you some questions as I'm led by the Spirit of God. So one of the questions that God's putting in my heart right now is, it might be a very fundamental question, and just going back to the basics. There's people from various backgrounds in this room. Like, for example, I come from Hinduism. My wife comes from Catholicism. There's a lady here who comes from Mormonism. There's somebody from Anglicanism, most likely.
I came from Buddhism.
Beautiful. There's somebody who comes here from Buddhism. So when you say you were seeking for God, you cried out to God in 2007 or 8.
2008, yep.
8. And you felt the presence of God, but then more so in recent times, in the last couple of years, when you decided to really go all out for God. Mm-hmm. What made you go to the Bible or seek for Jesus as the answer? And Christianity, it's more about Christ, not just Christianity, as opposed to you going and looking for answers in either Buddhism, Catholicism, Hinduism, Mormonism, Anglicanism, or any of the isms. What made you go just to Jesus Christ for answers, and what is it from His Word that has convicted you and convinced you to believe that this is the only truth that there is in this world, if it is?
The Son will set you free.
Amen.
To me, I've dabbled in, I guess, New Age or occult, whatever philosophies, mindsets, like self-help, all that kind of stuff, and I found nothing held truth. It didn't change, because to me it was a heart issue, and when I invited Christ into my heart changed.
Wow.
It was the heart, and so I saw through that new lens, and to me that is truth. That is truth, and this through the Son, through Christ, set me free.
Now, as a result of you having been spending time in the Bible, in the Word of God, do you think the Word of God has equipped you to be a better dad, or be a better husband,
Absolutely.
a better employee, a better friend, a better brother? I'm pretty sure the answer to that is yes, because of what you said earlier. But I'd like to say, how has it impacted your parenting, or in the way your behavior towards your family, or your attitude?
Oh, instead of me putting the onus on myself, and this is fundamentally me and Diana. We said in our household, this is probably 4 years back, before we even started fellowship with you. We said, you know what, we're gonna put God first, because we had an alternate plan. God was kind of at the bottom, fourth or fifth on the list of what, we had our kids first. We honored the creation more than the Creator. that we had, jobs and money and et cetera, et cetera. God was somewhere on the bottom, somewhere on the bottom. We said we're going to put God right in the center. He's going to come first. Like I wrote it down on a piece of paper, so it was there. And when you actually saying it is one thing, but trying to live it and do it is another thing. So by that means, I think it took off so much weight for the parenting, so much weight for how to be a husband. Like just kind of fell off. It fell off, and I gave it to him. He took that yoke. He took that yoke that was hard for me to carry, and I have a manual. I have, and that's what the beauty is of His Word. And you can continuously go to it, and you can dig in it. You can find out how to be a better parent, how to be a better husband, how to be a better employee. It's all here. It's all in the book.
How important would you say it is to be connected with Spirit-filled God's people who He has put in your life, and fellowshipping with them, and the fruits of the fellowship? How important would you consider that?
Like you said, God is a consuming fire, and we have to give Him that fire. And when people are filled with that fire, we draw towards that, and that's how I believe that's how we grow. That's how I've grown in my walk, because it's only the people that are really filled with the fire where you want to follow and you want to go towards, right? Because because I searched many different. I knew Christ was the answer, and we went to different churches, different denominations, whatever it was, but nothing really grabbed me. Nothing really kept me there. It wasn't till I was grounded in the Word and had fire and fellowship that brings you up. If you don't have that, if no one has that, it's just dry. And you, like you said, Sundays you show up, you feel good, you go away, but then things are back to normal come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And you need that pick you up for Sunday, right? You need that fire every day.
Would you say that the consuming fire of God is essential to refine us and our lives?
Amen. Yes.
To refine us.
To refine us, yes. And that's what He's doing with me. He's purifying me, He's cleansing my hands, because there's so much filth on it. Yeah, absolutely.
So coming back to seeking God, I'd like to ask you, if you would tell the people in this house just a few ways or tips of seeking God and how you seek Him in your everyday life, like word, prayer, and all that. Go ahead and just name a few. With the resources that are available in the world today, how would you seek God?
Absolutely. Like that's
starting with
you have a phone. You can Google up anything you want in regards to His Word. You could use your time. Your free time. I know how much it's a staple for us at our home to just come home after work, turn the TV on, and what do we watch? Stuff that typically, like, I've been thinking about past stuff that doesn't edify you at all. It doesn't build you up. It just makes you tired. It just makes your mind numb.
Those are secular stuff.
Secular stuff, right? Secular programming, Netflix, whatever you want to call it, right? So for me, I mean, I have been blown away by the people's testimonies. Testimonies are huge, just because they fuel faith. They make your faith rise, and like, to me, it just feeds hunger, because I know there's so much more, and I want an encounter. I want an encounter with Christ, and I believe that, I believe it's tangible. I believe it's out there. It's just so changing the things that we used to do, the habitual things, and replacing it with things that are godly by reading His Word more. Instead of a newspaper or a magazine that's not gonna, I'll say for myself, like a self-help book. Go to His Word. Those are things that I've replaced in my life. Playing. I used to be addicted to. This is an older crowd, but I used to be addicted to video games. I would spend endless hours. It was an escape for me. I'd go hide in the basement, and I would play video games, and because I didn't want to deal with my reality. I didn't want to deal with the things that had a hold of me. It helped me just remove, right? It was my escape. I can't remember the last time I played. I can't. He took that from me, because I gave him the stuff that I was struggling with. He took it.
Amen.
He took it. I don't have that need and that desire to escape because he took that bondage.
Amen. Now the Word of God says that taste and see that the Lord is good. And also King David, the Word of God says that in His presence is a fullness of joy. So today, if you have a choice of spending time in God's presence as opposed to watching secular stuff or playing games or whatever, what would you rather have in your life?
I think once somebody tastes God's presence, that's a no-brainer.
Would you exchange your time the time that you invest in God for anything worldly?
No. Nothing can compare, and that's the thing. That nothing that I've seeked as a man in this world has ever compared to that love and that peace that He brings for those moments, those instances, those experiences that I've had, and they're ever fleeting because I've only had them for like X amount of minutes. But when you know He comes in that presence, when you know and He brings you through tears, and you feel that nothing can compare. Nothing can compare.
Now, as a result of you having given your life to the Lord Jesus, do you see the love of God increase, the grace of God, the presence of God, the peace of God, and the joy of God increase in your household to where it is today as opposed to where it was in the past?
Yes. Because He's the head of that home now. He's the head of the home.
You see your children being more... Do you see there's more order and comfort, order in the house than what it used to be in the past?
I do in our home, and we got a lot of different dynamics in my home. I'm not going to go into all that.
Yes.
But in our home, I used to be I was raised kind of militant, and there was structure, there was always structure. I don't feel like that's carried over, especially recently. I have a different, you know what I mean? Like there's expectations and stuff, but there's not that, it's got to be that way anymore.
Yes, obviously.
And I know because He took that sense of control, where you want to control that house.
Yes.
That's not there. Because
So
it's in Him. It's His control. It's not my control anymore.
Right.
So yes.
So do you also see? I believe the answer to this is yes, but nevertheless, I'll ask you that your children are getting more inclined towards the Lord than where they used to be, in any proportion.
Yes.
So obviously you see the tangible blessings of God working in your life as a result of you seeking Him.
Yes.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to add to some of the questions that I asked today, which was totally unplanned and unprepared at all? But I thought
That it was. No, but from there, seek the Lord your God, and you will find Him with all your heart and all your soul. Deuteronomy 4:29.
How important is it to surrender your life to the Lord Jesus, as opposed to holding bits and pieces and it's like a tug of war?
Yeah, well, He's a lamp. He's a lamp to our soul. He sees everything. So if we're gonna hold back stuff, we're not gonna be free.
No. So it's going to be an ongoing tug of war, trying to pull things, as opposed to letting it go, just giving it all to Him.
Absolutely. Surrender it all.
Can I ask him a question?
Please.
When, at the beginning, did God just draw you in your own circle, or were you invited to a church, or where you could hear the Word of God? How did you first come to want God?
Well, like I said, I think I had a grandmother, and I think she's always been praying for me. And I've always had a sense that there's something else, right? I've always had that desire it's just, I fought with my sin in the flesh. Like, I think from 2008, I was at a broken state. I was at a country. I was at a very bad state, and so I cried out to Him. And then after that, He put Christians in my path that did invite me to church, and I seek, but I wasn't ready to give it all up yet. So it was a stretched out walk. But it's the fellowship and the people that have come in my life that the Lord has blessed me with putting those people in my life, in my path.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't an instantaneous.
No, but you were beginning to desire more. You were learning more rather than you were just sitting at home and it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah.
Anybody else has any questions for Lee or anything that you'd like to ask at all? So I think we'll end the session right here, and thank you very much indeed for answering all the questions and also being a great blessing to everyone.